Man, today I'm so happy. One of my favorite game companies' games sold very well, and it was a big risk for them. So if you guys didn't catch this, XSEED put out a press release this week talking about The Last Story, and in it they mentioned how it is the most successful game in the company's history. And XSEED's been around about 6 years, and some of their more popular titles have been The Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, and they do the Ease games. They did a couple Rune Factory games, and they also did the re-release of Lunar Silver Star Harmony on the PSP. But it really makes me happy that XSEED has found a lot of success with The Last Story on the Wii, because there was so much controversy surrounding it, like, oh, is anybody going to localize it? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And you know me, I'm always talking about, like, why don't people take more risks, and all these Japanese RPGs or just Japanese games in general, excuse me, don't get localized because people think it's too big of a risk or there's not an audience for it. And now I don't know quite how much The Last Story sold. They didn't mention it in the press release, but I imagine that based on past sales of XSEED games, this probably sold in the neighborhood of 150 to 200,000, which may not sound like a ton if we're talking about games like Call of Duty or Halo, where they're selling tens of millions of copies. But in the broad scope of things, XSEED probably only employs about 25 to 30 people. So when you have a game like that that sells that many copies, that's a big win for them. And they have extra cash, and maybe in their minds they're like, oh, maybe we can take more risks in the future. And I think it just goes to show that people definitely are interested in these games, especially when it comes to a system like the Wii that had such a huge install base. There will always be an audience. And for me personally, I've always been a huge fan of XSEED because they always put out games I really enjoy. I love the Ease games. I love Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky. And of course I love The Last Story. And just to give a little bit of background on just how crazy of an XSEED fan that I am, I was set to review Corpse Party for the PSP, one of the last games I reviewed as an official writer for Blistered Thumbs, and I had lost my PSP at the time. I don't know what happened to it. I thought it got lost in a move at work. I just couldn't find it, and so what did I do? Went out and bought a new PSP just so I could play Corpse Party and review it. Because I really want to get as much exposure out there as much as I can. As just this little person, I have a small voice on YouTube and Twitter and Blistered Thumbs and whatnot. So I really wanted to get the word out there on that, and it's turned out to be a pretty well-selling game. It's consistently been on the top of the list of PSN. And then The Last Story, I really wanted to play this game as well, but the problem was I didn't have a Wii, and I had a couple of friends that had a Wii, so I'm like, I don't even care. I really want to support XSEED. So what did I do? I went out and bought, the collector's edition, which basically was available to everybody if you pre-ordered it. And I borrowed a friend's Wii, and I played through it, and I loved it. And in fact, I still have my friend's Wii. I got to give it back to him. But besides that, that's just how much I'm willing to support XSEED. I'd be willing to buy a game that I don't have the system for. And if you guys haven't seen my review or my unboxing, I'll leave, annotations here. They might be up already. And I don't think it's any coincidence that The Last Story is my most viewed Shinkara episode. I think there was just a big need for Wii owners. They really wanted a game that they could sink a lot of hours into, and just something that was unique. And I think The Last Story was just that. And I hope in the future that this is, something that companies can see, like, oh, we can take a risk because there's, people are willing to do or to support it. And I think it's, you got to be smart about it though. I think that's why people are reluctant to support the Vita, because the install base is so low. But with something like the DS, the PSP, the Wii, the install base is so massive that you could probably take a risk on something like The Last Story and see a pretty good profit. And obviously that's what's worked out for XSEED, and I couldn't be happier for them. And that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Just, I'm really happy about the success of the company and this game because, like I've mentioned many times, they were willing to take a risk, and it paid off for them and for the fans. Everybody seems to really be enjoying it. So I would definitely love to hear your thoughts on this subject of this being their most successful game in the company's history. Did you enjoy The Last Story? Would you like to see a sequel? What do you think of XSEED and games that they've published recently and in the past couple of years? So this is going to be a regular video type series, just kind of these, 5 to 10 minute little off-the-cuff vlogs, no script or anything, just either something topical or something that I wanted to get off my chest, something that I really wanted to talk about, and then get a discussion going with you guys in the comments. So definitely let me know what you think, and next week I'll have a new review, and then it'll probably be a couple top 10 lists a few weeks in a row. And then we'll really start rolling into the new reviews next year. We got Ni no Kuni coming, DMC, Metal Gear, Tales of Xillia. There's gonna be a lot of really great, games from Japanese developers, and just really amazing games from other companies. Like I'm really looking forward to The Last of Us and Guacamelee for the Vita, and just a bunch of other awesome games. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.